there, my friend. Before we dive into today's episodes, can we just take a breath together? It's August. Technically still summer, but doesn't it feel like you're living in a season sandwich? There's still some sunshine, definitely some flip-flops to be worn, and now back to school emails are flooding your inbox. Maybe you've got that one last road trip planned and or travel somewhere else, or you're just trying to enjoy your smoothie in peace before the schedule shifts again. And if your house is showing every sign of that shift, just know you're not alone. I'm talking about the summer clutter chaos, the sunscreen bottles that have lost their caps, random beach towels hanging on the doorknobs, the entryway basket overflowing with who knows what, and your kitchen counters. Let's just say they've become landing pads for everything except food. This is what I would call the in between mess, that great stuff shuffle, so to speak, because we're transitioning seasons, but the stuff, it hasn't caught up yet. So if you're carving some space, physically and mentally, you're in the right place. We're kicking off a brand new August mini series called Almost Fall Reset, Savor the Season, Simplify the Space. August is it. And in today's episode, we're starting where most of our stress lives. And it's that visible clutter, the stuff that's out in the way and dragging your energy down every time you walk past it. Hey there, and welcome back to Organizing with Ease. I'm your host, Deanna Mall. If this is your first time tuning in, I'm so glad you're here. Let's get real about life, stuff, and finding your rhythm again. And for my returning listeners, your support and stories are the heart of this podcast. I love hearing how you're implementing these strategies in real life, and I hope today's episode gives you a few more light bulb moments. So I have to start with a personal story. In July, yes, just last month, we finally got the new pantry doors installed in our kitchen. And let me tell you, it's been on my to-do list for a while. You know how it goes. Summer hits, kids are home, work doesn't stop, and suddenly everything's not urgent. It keeps getting pushed to the side. That was my pantry project because the doors needed to get reordered not once, not twice, but 3 times. But the moment the installer gave me a date, oh my gosh, I went full-blown pantry mode. Took everything out, even though it was already organized. But it's me after all, as you know. Haha. Wiped down the shelves, tossed the stale snacks, and relabeled everything that I possibly could. Suddenly, it wasn't just new doors, it was a whole fresh energy in my kitchen. And it hit me. Sometimes we don't need a full overhaul. We just need a little nudge, a reason, a permission slip to reset. And that's what I wanted to give you today, because right now your home might be holding on to summer clutter, a few things that don't belong in this season of life anymore. You don't need it to deep clean the whole house, even though you might want to. You just need a method, a moment, and a little momentum. So let's get into it. My August feels like the ultimate juggle. August is weird, right? It's not summer, it's not quite fall. It's that hazy in between where you're trying to enjoy what's left of the season while secretly Googling school supply sales, checking in your inbox for those back to school night emails. And in the middle of all that, your house is starting to look like a season of life exploded. Camp backpacks are still by the door, or maybe even still in the bedrooms, swimwear drying on that bathroom rail, Amazon boxes half unpacked, mail that's quote unquote not urgent but should have been opened about a week ago. You walk into your living room and think, did this space always look like a pop up shop for randomness? Are you thinking, yeah, that's about me? You're absolutely correct. According to a recent survey by Sparefoot, 67% of Americans say the clutter in their home increases significantly during August, mostly due to travel, last minute purchases, and shifting schedules. And it totally makes sense, wouldn't you agree? Because we're in what we call that great stuff shuffle, or you're like, why are you getting that? Yes, because we're moving things from one room to another, from the car to the hallway, from the guest room to I'll deal with it next week. But here's the thing, you're not behind, you're just in a moment of transition. One of my clients recently told me I was putting away the beach chairs and somehow I end up trying to reorganize the garage while I'm on hold with the pediatrician's office trying to make that appointment for my daughter before she needs to go to school. So we laughed so hard together because you know what? That is actually what the August vibe is all about. Wouldn't you agree? There's such good intentions, a little panic, and a whole lot of stuff getting shuffled around without a clear plan. Which brings us here in this episode, this moment, right now. Whether you're heading on to a mini weekend getaway, welcoming guests before the school year kicks off, or just trying to keep your kitchen table clear for one solid day, we're going to pause and we are going to reset. You don't need to do it all, but what if we did just one small thing today to feel better in your space? And I'm going to also walk you through the Fresh Start method. So, are you ready? Hey there, want to simplify your summer in just 10 minutes a day? Our Summer 10 bonus podcast series is now available, but it's private and only for our insiders. 2 exclusive episodes packed with practical organizing tips, travel prep hacks, and systems for your home, plus a downloadable workbook with slides and checklists. But of course, get private access now just for $9. Link is in the show notes. Don't miss out. Now back to today's episode. Let's get into the Fresh Start method in full action. So we've already talked about the 4 steps, right? But now let's go into it a little bit deeper because I know exactly what you're going through right now in your mind right now. What if I don't have time to do it all? What if I start and get overwhelmed halfway through? What if I just start moving stuff around without making a dent? And that is why we are going to make it work for you. It's about giving yourself a flexible framework that actually works in real life. And you're going to be able to get your energy and you're going to get that season of life and you're going to allow yourself to do it because progress is the point. So let's first think about how to get there. We're going to take it as like a detective work. Way of thinking, all right? You're going to uncover what's actually in your space, not just what you think is there. So I had a client once who found 4 pairs of kid-sized goggles in 4 different rooms. Why? Because every time her kids needed goggles or had friends over, she couldn't find the last pair and just bought a new one. Does that sound familiar? It brings truth to light, what you've accumulated, what's hiding in plain sight, and what you've stopped noticing. If pulling everything out feels overwhelming, try what I call maybe with a timer, a tidy timer. Just set a timer for 15 minutes and sort what you can in that time. No pressure to finish. Just focus on what's in front of you. You'll see and you'll make so much progress. And odds are you'll find at least one thing you forgot you even had. According to the P-Touch labeling, Americans waste more than 2.5 days every year just looking for misplaced items. And that's time you just don't get back. So now, why don't we just say that in order to get to the next step after that, what I always tell my clients is this is the moment to ask yourself more of the better questions, more of the more details. Do I need this now? Would I pay to move this across the country, especially if you're moving? Maybe you're not, but just think about it. Would you pay what you have that you're looking at to move somewhere? Is this item for who I am now or who I was? So let me share with you a story. I worked with a newly retired couple not long ago. The husband had 9 pairs of gardening gloves. You heard me right, 9. But hadn't gardened in years because that was his passion earlier on. When I gently asked why he was holding on to them, he just said, because I used to. The one phrase says so much. So many of us hold on to things because they connect us to a former version of ourselves. But you are allowed to grow. You are allowed to release what no longer fits the life you're living today. Letting go doesn't mean letting go of the memory. Take a photo, say thank you, move on, and let someone else enjoy maybe 8 of those gardening gloves, right? And again, the systems that you put into place, they need to support your real life, not your Pinterest board look, but possibly so, but more so systems that work for you. Not that looks so elaborate, but again, making it work for you and your family. A single mom that I helped with, we created two labeling cubby systems by the front door because it was easier for her. One was for each child, and the one was for the returns, and that was easier for her. And then one was for the library books because she does take her children to the library. But it was basically nothing fancy, just a few baskets with a little Sharpie because that's what she wanted. But her words a week later, "We've never made it to school on time 5 days in a row until now." That's the power of a system that fits your flow. Research from Princeton University shows that clutter actually limits your brain's ability to process information. So it's not your imagination that everything feels harder when the house is in a mess. When you're creating homes for things, ask yourself, where would I naturally look for it? And that's probably where it belongs. Just a thought. It might work for you. Try it out and let me know. I'd love to hear from you on that note. Again, where would I naturally look for this? When you're creating homes for things, just remember to ask yourself, because again, that's probably where it belongs. Finally, we move on to how to keep it all together. So you've done everything, and now you're like, okay, now it's time to stay in that reset, right? That maintenance that we talk about. But let's be honest, this is where the most of us struggle. Life gets busy, the stuff creeps back in. But sustaining isn't about perfection, it's about catching the mess early before it turns into overwhelm. So you can try, of course, my daily, weekly, monthly checklist, which I'll, of course, share with you in my show notes. Nothing overcomplicated, just a few touch points to help you stay ahead of the chaos instead of staying behind. So now let's talk about something I know you need to hear. You do not need a full weekend or hours of uninterrupted time to make progress in your home. In fact, some of the most powerful shifts I've seen with my clients and with myself came from a 10 to 15-minute change. So let me tell you about a client of mine. She was a full-time teacher, a mom of three, and barely had time to breathe. Or you're like, wow, oh my gosh, she has a lot on her plate. But we all do. So let alone she wanted to overhaul her home, which could be done. However, she came to me feeling that she was like drowning in her own to do list. So I asked her where she spent the most of her time each day. Her answer? In the car. So we didn't touch her pantry. We didn't go near the closet. We actually started with the front seat of her car. We cleared out the trash. We added a little basket for the wipes, hand sanitizer, and a mini notepad and pen. 3 days later, she texted me, "Deanna, every time I get in my car now, I feel like I matter again." That's the power of a micro win. You don't need to organize the entire garage to feel relief. Sometimes cleaning out a single drawer or reorganizing the snack shelf in the pantry can make your whole day feel different. And also with like your work bag. Say that you have a bag to go to work, to and from. Maybe you have a briefcase. Things like that do make a difference. So again, choose one area, choose one thing. Set a timer for 10 to 15 minutes. And ask yourself quickly, can I toss? Can I donate? And what can I clean or refresh? And then this is the part, add one joyful moment just to make it enjoyable to get done, even within those 10 to 15 minutes. I play music because I just love listening to music. It gets me more inspiring and I kind of dance with it, so to speak. Can you see that? Can you picture this? Sometimes it's basically quiet. Some people actually have TV on because they just want that background noise. You could do a candle. You could do whatever you like. Scents, all that stuff. A UCLA study found that families who decluttered just one space reported a 15% drop in daily stress levels after only 2 weeks. That's not a full home transformation, but that's one drawer, one shelf, one step. And guess what? Big results. Okay, my friends, now let's have some more fun here because this is one of my favorite segments of today's episodes. Let's talk about baskets, okay? The organizing world is obsessed with baskets. And I love a good woven beauty or a labeled bin as much as the next person. But let's be honest, baskets can become black holes if we're not careful. You know the ones I mean. The important papers basket that holds takeout menus, 4 to 5 phone chargers, and maybe even some expired coupons. The shoe basket that currently has 2 puzzle pieces, one dog toy, and a birthday card from 3 months ago. Does any of this sound familiar? I worked with a family who had a genius idea. They used a rotating basket system on their coffee table and they labeled it and called it This Week. So any random items that didn't have a home landed in that basket. But here's the rule: every Friday, they did a 5-minute family reset. If the item wasn't claimed or put away, it was donated, tossed, or handled. And get this, they made it as a game. Music on, timer set, and the kids raced to see who could clear out the most. That's what I mean by intentional storage. It's not about hiding clutter, it's about using storage to support your life. So, here's a few basket tips that I would like to share with you. Contain by category. Don't mix, like your tech cords with the bale. Just keep it simple. Choose the right size. Oversized baskets invite for more clutter. Use clear or open top bins if you need visual reminders, especially helpful for out of sight, out of mind people, if you get my drift on that one. Real Simple magazine reported that 40% of what's inside baskets in the United States homes has nothing to do with the basket's original purpose. Are you probably smiling and saying, looking and thinking about your baskets that you currently have in the house and be like, yeah, I kind of get that. It's some of us have those what we would call those mystery bins around the house. But now it's time to peek inside of them and reassign those items with intentions. And hey, if all else fails, storage without purpose is just organized procrastination. That's a little bit of a funny from me. We've covered a lot in this episode. We did my pantry story, pool goggles, rogue baskets, and all the real life organizing feels. But I hope the biggest takeaway in this is that you don't need to wait till September. You don't need to overhaul your whole home. You just need one step. And here's a gentle challenge for you this week. Choose one small space, like your car, the basket by the door, or maybe in your mudroom, or even a kitchen drawer. Walk through the steps, use the daily, weekly, monthly checklist to keep your momentum going, and most of all, celebrate your progress, even if it's just a few minutes of clarity in your day. I'd love to see what you're working on, so send me an email or a fan mail. I'd love to hear from you. Again, keep it light, keep it real, and keep going because step by step, little by little, you've got this. Until next week, my friends, remember systems plus rhythm equal ease, not effort. If you enjoyed today's episode, don't forget to subscribe to Organizing with Ease podcast on your favorite podcast platform and leave us a review. Your feedback helps us grow and reach more listeners like you who are passionate about living their best lives. And remember, a new episode comes out every Thursday at 8 a.m. So mark your calendar and join us. Until next week, take care and keep shining bright.